time we share, with a dash of this and a pinch of that, mixed all up with care. The best company and conversation, recipes and new creations. We're cooking up something good here at home. We are cooking up something good here at home.
Well, hello there today. How are you doing? So good to have you folks with us. Been reading some mail, and what we're going to do today is a little different because we're going to make some recipes that you have sent to us and said, why don't you make this or why don't you make that? I have a whole stack of them, and I thank you very much because every place I go, they'll say, oh, we enjoy the show, and I always say, send me recipes. And you've been doing that. Thank you so much. We've had such fun reading them and enjoying what you think is a great dish. We're going to try some of them today and see if we think they're great dishes. But I have to show you this. Can we get a close-up of this, Larry? One of the ladies from my church, her name is Helen Douglas. This looks like an Oreo cookie, right? It's not. You know what it is? It's crocheted. No, ladies, I do not have the instructions. Please don't write and ask me because I don't have them. I'm sure she couldn't take the time to answer all the letters. That's an Oreo cookie, but it's a magnet. Is that darling? And we put it on our refrigerator. There is such creativity out there. I'm amazed totally at what you ladies come up with. I think that's such a clever idea. Thanks, Helen. She also made us some really nice tea towels, too, for our kitchen. Well, today, like I said, we're doing viewer recipes, and the first one is a little unique. It's called sauerkraut and peas. Now, stay with us here. And she says that her mom used to make this years and years ago, but she would use the dry peas, and they'd have to cook and cook and cook and cook them. Well, this is a soup that you make with sauerkraut and peas. We're going to try that. The next one is a beef and tater hot dish. You say you like casseroles. This lady, her name's Dorothy, she said, Arlene encloses a recipe that I picked up while visiting in Minneapolis. It's a very popular hot dish there and has been received well here when I've served it. It's simple to make. She said the Swedes call casseroles hot dish. Where we say broccoli casserole, they say broccoli hot dish. She says, I watch your show weekly and enjoy it. Although I've been cooking for 30-some years, I still pick up some good hints and recipes. Well, that's good to hear. I'm really glad to hear that. She says, I'm submitting this recipe since you asked the viewers to share some with you, which I did. Thank you so much, Dorothy. We're going to make that beef and tater hot dish in just a few minutes. And then to top off the whole program, this comes from Gert from McKee's Rocks, and she said, Arlene, this cake is absolutely delicious. It's called Zimbalistic Grand Finale Cake. I know that you're probably wondering what it's all about. Well, we're going to share it with you right after this very important message. We'll be right back. All right, we're back, and to begin with, we're going to start with the beef and tater hot dish. And we're going to call it hot dish because that's what the Swedes call it. First of all, you want to take 1.5 pounds of ground beef or ground turkey and put it in a skillet. We've got it started just to save time, with about 1/2 cup of chopped onion. And just let it brown. Like I said, you could use ground turkey if you wanted to because you'd have a little different flavor, and a lot less calories and fat content. You could do that because this is a very nutritious and a delicious type of casserole that I think that your family's going to enjoy. While that's browning, we're going to take 3 cans of soup. And she tells us that we need to be sure to have this boiling. So in my saucepan here, I'm going to add 1 can. This is a healthy choice, and it's chicken with rice, which has the third less salt. We're going to use that can of that soup, 1 can of chicken gumbo soup, mix them all together. There's rice in both of these, you see. Okay. And 1 can of cream of mushroom soup. Get something here. We want to clean these soup cans very well. Now you say, Arlene, I've never made anything mixed together. Well, I've not either, and I'll tell you, to be honest with you, I've never tried this recipe. It's going to be Just like you're trying it for the first time in your home, so am I here at home today, making our viewer recipes. Let's clean these other cans out real, whoa, almost got away from me there. We're gonna clean these cans out really well, okay, because there's lots of rice that sticks at the bottom when they're a condensed type of soup. Now this is gonna, let's mix this up real well. And what we're gonna do then is let this come to a boil because it'll cut down on your time that you have to bake it in the oven. And get rid of these. Again, that's mushroom soup, cream of mushroom soup, chicken gumbo soup, and chicken with rice. 3 cans that they're gonna boil. The meat's going to town here with the onion, good flavor, good smell. Looks like it's just about there. Again, you want to break these up very, very well. Okay, no big chunks of meat. And I think we're at the point where we're gonna go ahead and drain this. Not much to drain on this at all. It's always good to have your strainer to be the size of the bowl because if you don't, it could tip very easily when you're draining. You don't want that to happen. Okay, so that is now draining very well. Okay, we're going to take our baking dish and we're just going to place the meat at the bottom of the baking dish. All right, and spread it very evenly to cover. Okay, very good. Next we're going to see, make sure that this is, yep, the soup is getting to a boil very quickly. Important not to leave these type of spatulas in the pan because you will not only have soup, you will have rubber spatula soup because they melt down very quickly and very easily. Next we're going to take a package, he says take a package of 1 16-ounce package of frozen mixed vegetables thawed. Now you want to get these out a little bit before we're going to need them because she says not to have them frozen. So we'll take the vegetables, let's sprinkle them all over. These still have a little freeze to them. We've had these out about an hour, so that kind of helps you to know how long you have to leave these out. Okay, spread them around evenly. Mixed vegetables. Next, she says, spread the heated soups over the vegetables. Okay, I think this is ready. God, this is so simple, isn't it? I mean, all you're doing is combining some soups, bring it to a boil, brown some meat, put it in a skillet. I mean, this is easy. Now we're pouring the soup over top. You do it evenly now. Of course, you know, with this soup being this hot, it's going to help to thaw down those vegetables very quickly too. Okay. Make sure the edges are covered, clear to both sides. Okay, so very quickly, look how quick this is. She says it only takes about 15 minutes of preparation to make this, and she said this will serve makes about 8 servings, so that's great. Okay, then we're not finished yet because on top of this now, we're going to take a bag of frozen tater tots. Now she doesn't say that these should be thawed. These are frozen, all right? And over the top of this, we're putting the tater tots. Look at that. So you have your meat, your vegetables, everything is right in this dish together. Can you believe this? Everybody like tater tots? The crew is going crazy. I think that we have arrived at what they really like here. Forget all the fancy stuff. They just like this frozen tater tots. That's what they like. All right, we're going to put the whole 2-pound package. Now I'm sure that when our friend makes it, she does it with, places them evenly. I'm not going to take the time to do that because I want to get to some of the other recipes, but I think you'll see what I mean. This could be a very delicious casserole if you have company. You got folks in that you don't know if they like what kind of foods that they like. Everybody basically likes ground meat. Everybody likes potatoes, vegetables, some vegetables, but with the mixed vegetable, you kind of hit them all. So it seems like that would be, she said to put them all on there. I better do it, huh? Maybe I needed a bigger dish. I think she said 13 by 9, though. think we're in business. We'll just mound them up. Larry, you get to eat the ones that crisp up on the top, okay? Okay. You know, that's one thing about this crew. They are ever ready. And we have a guy up in the audio booth, Bob Taylor. I've never seen a person who could eat and be as big as a pencil. I mean, the man is not heavy at all, but this guy can put it away. And he's usually one of the first that's down here saying, ha ha, let's see what we got to eat. But they're all nice guys. I appreciate the crew that we have working on this program. And I know you do because you tell me in the letter, say, boy, thanks, tell all the guys thanks that work with you. All right, enough of the accolades. Let's get back to cooking. We're putting this in to a 350-degree oven until it gets bubbly in the center. It shouldn't take too long because we've got the soup heated up and the meat was hot. We're going to go ahead, put this in just like this, and we're going to have it in there for an hour or better. I'm going to set the timer, and through the magic of television, you'll get to see what this looks like, trust me. All right, that's the first one. Number 2, we're going to do the sauerkraut soup since we're over here working on our stove. Now this is going to be unusual because, I'll be honest with you, sauerkraut soup doesn't sound like something I would like, but you know, you have to be willing to try something different and new and unusual, and that's what we're doing here with this. I'm sure that back, you know, when some of our parents went through rough times, they compromised and made things like my mom. You know, most people use beef stew to make beef stew meat, the chunks of beef, to make her beef stew. But my mother learned when the war was on, you couldn't get chunks of beef. She always used ground meat. And when you could get beef, we liked the ground beef better than we liked the chunks of beef, so she continued to make it that way. I have a feeling that's what happens with recipes like this. So let me see. This is Olga McNichol from Leechburg. I'll tell you, Olga, we're going to give it a try and see what it's like. 2-pound bag of sauerkraut. We're going to put all of this into a saucepan. You know, maybe this stirs up memories of some of you ladies that have been cooking for a long time out there. Maybe your family made something like this. Can't say my mother ever did. I don't remember it anyway if she did. Sauerkraut she always made with either beef or pork. If I could get this out of the bag, we would probably save a few minutes here. There we go. All right, that's a 2-pound bag. That's juice and all. And then she said she takes 2 cans of just plain old green pea. Okay? Green pea soup. You know, this stuff is very thick. Turn the gas on here. Let's see what we get doing. I'm having a hard time. There we go. She said this way is easier than the way her mother made it, but she said she thinks it even tastes better than the old-fashioned way where you had to cook the peas all day. And really, you don't do anything with this except combine these ingredients together. I guess if you didn't want to make this much, you could make a smaller portion. Okay? Because when the green pea soup heats up, it will get smooth. You don't add any water or any other moisture to it. All right? And let's see, let me mix it up a little bit here to blend it. Don't know what to expect here because I've never done this before. But we're going to let it cook a while we're doing our grand finale cake. And I'm going to add some bacon. She said to add some real bacon bits. If you have time to go ahead and fry up your own bacon, definitely do that. But if you don't, okay. Let's see. Olga, you probably do this a little different than I am, but I'm sure we'll get the same result, okay? I'm going to let that just go ahead and start to cook. Maybe I should mix that a little better. I don't know, I think it will be all right. We'll come back to this and see. We're going to taste all of these things at the end of the program, too, because, you know, we have to find out if we like the things that you're cooking out there. And it's all right if we don't, because and if we do, it's fine, too. That's what I like about cooking. You can moderate anything. You can do anything to any recipe to change it to the way that you like it. And that's the plus about it. It doesn't have to be exactly. Maybe you'd like to add mushrooms to this. I don't know. But we'll try it Olga's way first. Okay, let's go over to the grand finale cake. Maybe I better turn this down just a little bit. Grand finale cake. This was sent in by Gert from McKee's Rocks. And I have a feeling that Gert says, this is absolutely delicious. For me to enjoy it, I think Gert's probably a good cook. She sounds like she is just from her letter. First of all, you have to prepare a regular yellow cake mix from a box. It can be a butter cake mix. It can be just a regular yellow cake mix with just the eggs, no butter in it. Anyway, you make that. I need some spatulas here. I guess I've used them all up. Okay, well, we'll use this. And you're going to spoon your cake mix into a prepared pan which has been greased and floured. Let me show you a little hint. You see how the flour will gather in spots where the grease is maybe a little bit thicker? You never leave a great accumulation of flour because that flour will be on the bottom of your cake. It will not incorporate in the batter if it's a big clump. Mom always said, tap it on the edge. And the loose flour, and I've already done this to this, so there shouldn't be anything that comes through this, but if you tap it on the edge of the pan, tap it on all sides, the excess flour will come down, and then you discard that because you don't want a big clump of flour in the middle of your cake, all right? Okay, back to, this is a regular yellow cake mix. We're going to put that in 13 by 9 cake pan. You know, ladies, if you don't have some of these nice glass baking dishes, you can use a metal pan. It's okay. But you know, they're not that expensive, and they're nice to have because you do casseroles in these, and when you put them out on the table, they don't just look like a baking pan. It looks like, you know, this is a nice serving dish also. So we're going to smooth our cake batter out. Do it evenly. Get it in the corners. Okay? Nice and even. They're probably going crazy trying to take a picture of this, and I keep turning you around. But anyway, okay. Now, if I had a scraper, I would use it, but since I don't, I'll use my clean finger here. Get all that extra. There it is. All right. Now, you say, well, you bake it in the oven now? No. There's a topping that goes on to this. This, like I said, is the Zimbalistic grand finale cake. After you have prepared that for you, set that aside. In a bowl, you're going to take 2 pounds of ricotta cheese. Okay? 2 pounds. You can buy a 2-pound container, but I'll tell you, I got this, Foodlands had this for $1.39 or something. It was real inexpensive, and it was so much, well, I think I need to get something to get that out of there. Sometimes they come right out and sometimes they don't. Just watch your prices because if they're on sale, that's the time to stock up and buy these, like the ricottas and the cheeses and things that you use often. That's the time to bake your lasagnas and things, your raviolis or whatever you're making that you use. That's the time to get it, okay? Next, whoops, the other pound. I always think there's a paper on there and there's not. Okay. Apparently this cake is something that you'd want to do for a very special occasion, namely because you've got all this cheese in it too. I have a feeling that what this is like is a regular cake on the bottom with a cheesecake on top. Now, I'm not sure, but that's what it seems like because we did bake one ahead because this has to chill for a few hours after you bake it. So this is something you could be doing a day ahead of time. You don't have to do it, you should not do this the day of that you're going to use it. Okay, 2 pounds of ricotta, we have that in there. Now we're going to add a cup of sugar, okay, and 4 eggs. She doesn't say to beat them, so we're just going to add the eggs. Like I always tell you, you do it, break it in the bowl, make sure it's okay. Then we add it to the dish. Break it in the bowl. Up, we got a little, there we go. Sounds like the soup's cooking away over there. Maybe need to go and give that a quick stir. But we want to add all the eggs first because you don't want to stop in the middle of adding some of your ingredients because then you forget where you've left. Oops. The easiest way to get a shell out for me, I don't know where it went now. Let me get a little spoon here. I don't want to put the shell down in the cake mix. There it is. Okay. And here's the last one. Nice fresh eggs. Okay. Take a quick stir over here with our soup again. Boy, it smells good. I think it's going to be something we're going to enjoy. Better turn it down a little bit. It looks like it's cooking too quick. I think it's going to be something. Smells good, doesn't it? Yeah, sauerkraut. Maybe we'll add some more bacon bits to that before we serve it up. Okay. Now, we're mixing this together. We're going to put some vanilla, a little bit of vanilla in. I think we have all the ingredients. You're going to mix this together very well. Okay. The sugar, the 2 pound of ricotta. See, that's what makes me think that it's going to be like a cheesecake on top because of all that cheese that you have in there. And those are some of the similar ingredients that you would put in a cheesecake is the eggs and the cheese and the vanilla, the sugar. Okay, but we have to mix this up very well. And you want to incorporate all of these ingredients. Okay. Once you have done this, you're going to pour it right on top of that batter of that cake. Not baking that ahead of time. Remember, I told you, this goes on top. All right? And once you put it on top, you bake it in the oven at a 350 degrees. If you use a glass bowl like this or glass serving plate, you need to go to 325. Okay? You always lower the temperature for a glass baking dish. And you spread it on the top, and you bake it for 60 to 70 minutes. It's a long time, but that also sounds like cheesecake to me. Bake it that long, bring it out, and let it cool to room temperature. Let it cool to the room temperature. Once it's cooled to room temperature, you cover it and put it in the refrigerator. Don't serve it yet. Put it in the refrigerator and let it chill for at least 6 hours. I think overnight's even better. And when you are ready to serve it, I took some blueberries, some fresh blueberries, and sweetened them, thickened them just a little bit. And when we come back, we're going to show you all the finished products of today's program on your favorite recipes. Stay with us. Here's how you can get them for today's program. Well, here's the wrap-up and the final look at our viewer recipes that we've prepared, those recipes that you've sent in today. Now, don't forget to send for the recipes like you've just heard the gentleman. Linda, what's the number for these recipes?
128.
128. Don't forget to ask for them. Well, here's our Zimbalistic Grand Finale cake. Remember, this has been refrigerating. I'm just going to cut a little piece because I want to serve it for you, so it's actually a pretty big piece. This is the most unusual cake. Like I told you, with all that cheese on top, first one's always hard to get out. There we go. Look at that. Looks interesting, doesn't it? Got the cake. It almost looks like it's upside down, but the cake's on the top and the cheese is on the bottom. It has baked through like that. Very interesting. We've sweetened just some fresh blueberries, and we're going to serve just with, now this wasn't on her recipe, but I just kind of thought, maybe I'd like some blueberries. She suggested strawberries. You could do whatever you wanted to. But isn't that a wonderful looking cake? And remember, we put the cake batter first and then the cheese on top. And when you serve it, it's the opposite. Very interesting, isn't it? Can't wait to see what my family and my friends are going to think about that. We want to thank you, Gert Musco, for that wonderful recipe. Now we're going to go on to this interesting soup that we've made. And this was suggested by Olga McNichols. And this is the sauerkraut and pea soup. Let's see what it's like. It's an interesting flavor. Why don't you try it and see what you think? See, it's got the peas and bacon bits and sauerkraut. Interesting flavor. Thank you, Olga, for sending your recipe. And then last but not least, let me clear out some room here, is our tater tot casserole, which is called beef and tater hot dish. Remember we told you have to bake this for 60 to 70 minutes. Let's see what this looks like. Wow, that looks good. Got your ground meat in there, soups. You've got vegetables. Remember, we put the vegetables there. And the tater tots on top. This is very hot, as you can see. It looks wonderful. We're going to take a little taste of that. First of all, I want to thank Dorothy Walker for this wonderful recipe. Let's see. Get a little taste over here. That's good. Hot, but it's good. Wonderful recipes from our viewers. How can I thank you? I appreciate very much when you take the time to sit down and write that out and send it to us. In the future, we'll be doing some more viewer recipes, so if you'd like yours included, why don't you send them to us just as soon as you can. It's always fun to be with you. We've enjoyed ourselves today, and I hope that you have. And remember, nothing is too hard unless you think you can't do it. If you can't think you can't do it, it's going to be hard. But give it a try, and you'll surprise yourself and everyone else. More than anything, be sure to join us the next time, because it just wouldn't be the same without you here at home. See you then.
Fresh produce provided by Jordan Banana, wholesalers of fresh fruit and vegetables in Dravosburg, PA. Cookware provided by Woolies. Your favorite gourmet deserves the best for less at Woolly Balcony Cookware. Groceries provided by Foodland, where the answer is always yes. Cornerstone Television wishes to thank all our faithful viewers whose consistent prayers and financial support have made this program possible.